My name is Marshall Bruff. Under the direction of Cottonwood Heights City, I function as the leader of our neighborhood emergency response team. I welcome you as key members of this team. In the coming days, I will deliver a leadership packet to you. This is an overview of that packet, and there will be many videos that follow, which are more detailed explanations of your specific roles. I've indicated on this title page that we are also launching a YouTube channel and a Facebook group to help us. We will place post the training videos on our YouTube channel, and we'll use the Facebook group to notify you of those posts and also to provide you with a question and answer forum so you can follow up with things that aren't clear in the videos that we send to you. Now, I would like to go on with just a brief explanation of the packet itself. Remember to keep these packets accessible, and if you ever move or stop functioning in your role, we'd appreciate it if you would return the packet to me so that it can be passed on to your replacement. Also, don't be concerned about the size of the packet. Familiarity really will reveal simplicity. You will find that this is not as complicated as it may appear when you first see it. And I'd like you to now concentrate on the big picture. The first 4 pages of the packet represent a foreword, and the first page in that foreword will be a page that looks like this, but it will be populated with contact information. We use this 1-page summary of our team and the structure of our team so that it will be easy for you to communicate with each other. It's especially critical in the early stages of an emergency that we have all of your contact information and that of your spouse, so that if we have trouble reaching you, we have more than one avenue to use. This contact information will also include the location of your meeting place. It doesn't make too much sense right now the way it's formatted, because this I've stripped out all of the personal information here. The other contact information page, the second page of the foreword, will look very similar. This happens to be for what we will call roving experts, and I will explain that a little bit later on. You'll notice that we have a column there titled Specialty. These are people who will have experience with the building trades or have training in the medical industry, who will be of special help for us in dealing with emergency situations. And these are these lines will be organized by zone, and these roving experts will be assigned to zones initially, but I'll explain more about how that functions later. Now, this is kind of important for you to come back and study. There is an important concept illustrated here in the top portion of this chart. There is a phase 1 and a phase 2 to our emergency response. Phase 1 is the team that you belong to. We could call it a first responder team. Phase 2 will focus on recovery, and there'll be a handoff from our team to the team that handles the recovery phase. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. This page reminds us that we implement the principles that are part of the FEMA model that you hear FEMA referenced in terms of the federal emergency management of responses to disasters in our country. And FEMA has been in the news a lot when there is a disaster. We follow their model, which is that we make a record of the needs that we're going to address for each home and the work that we subsequently do to meet those needs. And then we pass those records on to the group that will take care of the recovery phase. And in our case, in the city of Cottonwood Heights, it's been determined that that will be the local wards of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There's another important concept here, and that is we have redundancy or backup levels all through our structure. And that's intended to make it possible for us to function well, even if people are missing. Page 4 of the foreword looks like this. This is probably not the kind of proper treatment that you would have for a book as a table of contents. But if you look at each of these lines, it references a page or a group of pages, tells you what the subject matter is within that section, and then it gives you pretty much an overview, a structural overview of what's in that section. And I hope you'll learn to use this so that it will help you to find what you're looking for in these manuals. Now we go to page 1 of the manual proper, and this is a map . It's pretty important for you to relate to this. The map takes us from the west end, which is a portion of the street labeled 2825 East, and goes all the way up to what is known as Watermill Way. This is a portion that's landlocked up here. And we begin on the south side of Fort Union Boulevard. We go all the way to 7320 South in the western portion of our area. And then we use Hollyhock Hill and 7180 South as the southern boundaries of the eastern half of our area. We call this a neighborhood, and I referenced that several times, but I'd like you to think that we have created 5 neighborhoods. There are 362 homes to address here, and each one is divided up into a zone. Usually there are 3 reporting areas per zone, but you could think of this as a neighborhood. Here's another one. This is southwest. This is the northwest zone. The north central zone has this leg right here and then comes up Fort Union. And we have the south central zone right here, and it takes a leg that runs east on Hollyhock, and the rest of this is the east zone. The map that you're looking at corresponds to the boundaries of the the Canyon Ridge Ward in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the city made a decision a number of years ago, just out of efficiency, to use those boundaries of wards as the geographical boundaries of the precincts that the city wants to use to manage an emergency. And the way to look at this is that the 5 wards in the Salt Lake Butler stake belong to the 5 precincts in the Butler District that the city uses to manage their emergency response efforts. And we're going to use the abbreviation BUCR. No, you can't read sideways, but if you look down here, the Butler District Canyon Ridge Precinct will be abbreviated BUCR. Hope that makes sense. Page 2 in the manual tells you how important meeting places are for each of these zones. The meeting places really function as command centers, and that's the place where all of the volunteer coordination happens. And they also will function as improvised first aid stations should we have residents who are injured and need help that we can't administer in their own home. And this is also the place where volunteers will bring food, water, and supplies to sustain the team of volunteers. Page 3. Is all about reporting the status of each home. We have a status reporter for each area within a zone. As they visit with occupants in each home to discuss needs, they also invite the able adults to join us as volunteers at the meeting site and be assigned to 2-person teams to return to homes where needs have been identified. Unlike other emergency precincts within the city, it is our area status reporters that post a color-coded flag on each home as a visual indicator of the severity of any personal injuries in that home. Now, let's take a look at what that area status reporter does to record the status of a flag, the color-coded flag for each home. This is just simply in a walking sequence through a reporting area, a place for the area status reporter to record the color of the flag. You'll notice that we have names of family members to aid that that reporter in relating to the people in each of those homes. And the way we work with this form is this separate form travels to me as the precinct leader and then goes on to a district level reporter that will actually send that information electronically to the city. The area status reporter will also make notes in brief to describe the condition in each home. Across the top of the margin here, you'll see a reminder to the area reporter of the things that need to be asked about when the visit is made with each home to assess the needs. And we record those in free form, in brief, you could say text language in this area. If more space is needed, the area reporter can turn the page over and continue. And then this will be used by the zone captain to subsequently record who has been assigned as a 2 or 3 person team to go back and deal with the needs in that home. And then when they report back, an indication of that they have reported back. So this can be used as a management tool by the zone captain to manage the volunteers that engage with us to help in individual homes. And I'll use this as an opportunity to mention that not only does all of the volunteer manpower to do this come from the residents in our area, but the tools and first aid supplies that we will use will also come from the individual homes. That's why we're all going to have to engage in some preparedness to make this work. When the area status reporter visits homes, there will be a request made of all those in the home who are able-bodied, and I might mention also are not required to care for injured people or small children in that home, to join us as volunteers to actually become part of the team that deals with emergency needs. And if there are questions, this form is used by the area reporter to answer those questions. We don't intend for the area reporter to go through all of this, but they have this as a handout. So those people are our frontline recruiters, and if they need help to explain what the residents are being asked to volunteer for, they will use this form. It will be used subsequently by the zone captain when these people report for duty at the zone meeting place, to give them a refresher course in how to care about people but stay safe themselves. Pages 7 through 9 will be the detailed training for zone captains. There's a lot of detail here, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. We've given you mainly the make sense kind of approach to keep you safe and to ensure that we're communicating, that we don't do things without making a record of it. And this kind of thing will be addressed in detail in subsequent videos for the zone captains. Even though these pages, here's another page of zone captain training. It's labeled as an addendum because I've added some material to what I originally wrote, and we'll cover this in these detailed trainings for the zone captains. Now, if I can get back to showing you that, I'm sorry. This is similar to the the form that we showed you that the area reporter fills out to identify what the needs are in a home. But in this case, that 2 or 3 person response team will have a record of what those needs are, and they will actually take this form with them. It's not pre-populated because they could be jumping around, not dealing with adjacent homes. And this is where a record of all of their work is made, and it's returned back to the zone captain. And once again, if this is not enough space, they can turn to the other side. But just want to point out that we're not expecting the reporters to provide their own paperwork. We're not expecting the volunteers to bring notebooks. All those forms will be provided for them, and it will be possible for them to just make their brief notes on this. Now, one other aid that we've provided is that we have a supply of pens for these volunteers, so that when they are issued an assignment, they'll be given a writing instrument to create the record. Let's see now. We've got some resources that we're going to show you, and these are not just for zone captains or area reporters. This is for everybody, all the residents. But I've got 3 pages of these, and you can see their links here. There are lots of places where you can go for training resources, but we'll try to provide you with some that have been selected as especially appropriate for our approach. Now, I promised to tell you a little bit more about roving experts. We could never successfully function with on-the-spot volunteers if we were expecting everyone to just spring into action and know exactly what to do. So this is an instruction form for people we will approach in the community and ask them, as experts in a building field or in first aid or medical procedures in general, to become backup people for us. We want them to join the fray. They're not just going to sit home and wait for a call. And they'll be given assignments initially where we already know that we're in deep water, and an unexperienced volunteer is not going to be able to handle it. But they will also be on call. We have a couple of radios that we've been able to provide for each zone captain to loan to these roving experts. We need more radios. We're going to try to expand that inventory, but we don't feel like we can go to these people and press them to go out and purchase radios. We're going to try to provide at least several in each zone. That will make it possible for these people to be moved around on an urgent basis, on an unforeseen basis. When the zone captain learns the team that he sent to a particular home or set of homes, they really don't know how to handle what they've encountered. And so we're going to call for backup. That assignment will be given by the zone captain to a roving expert using this form, and the rover will make a record of what they do for that home and then turn this into the zone captain when they've finished the list of assignments that they were given. It will be necessary for people to practice using radios. We're going to ask that each zone captain and assistant purchase their own radios, but because they can be bought in pairs, or they are usually purchased in pairs, it will be easy for a couple of them to go in together and just split the cost. We have 2 pages of radio protocol to help you learn how to use the radio. We'll try to practice within the team, but the best practice, I think, would be for you within your own family or a neighbor, a friend, to just try you out, put you under pressure, and see if you can learn this lingo and learn to handle the radio. There is a unique language for making sure that you're not misunderstood. And this, there are 4 pages here of radio etiquette that will help you with the way you refer to things, and helps you with the function of the radio itself. I hope you'll make extensive use of these. Now, in conclusion, I just want to say a huge thanks for your willingness to be part of this effort and say, in the most genuine way I can, welcome aboard.